What's up? Welcome back to Throwing Down a Night with Midi D. Now that the NFL is over, we can talk about another sport that I just love, college basketball. And you might ask, why college basketball, Mitch? Why not cricket? Well, because I'm basic. March Madness is the second happiest time of the year, and I just really have a good time with college basketball because it's fun. Everybody can get involved. You don't really need to know anything about the teams. You can pick by mascot or color. It doesn't really matter. I think it's a perfect sport because it's so entertaining, and the teams, they're not perfect, and their mistakes really show through sometimes, and I think that's important when building a team throughout the year. And how it all comes together in March, it really shows how special the team that wins the national championship is. Alright, so in this episode, we're going to focus on the Big Ten. Because I go to Penn State, I know a lot about the schools that they're playing, and I keep track of like who's playing and who wins. And as you know, Penn State just played Illinois the other day, and they lost. They were at home, and they lost. They were top 10 ranked for the first time in 20 years, at least, and they lost. I'm going to tell you why they lost. The first reason they lost was because their shooting wasn't good. They couldn't make a shot. I don't have the percentages in front of me. Their three-point percentage definitely wasn't up to season standard. It seemed that every time they'd go down in the game, they just didn't want to come back. Like, their coach, Pat Chambers, tried pushing his team, but when you saw them in the huddle, because they had like a really interesting way of displaying the game on Tuesday night, where you could see both head coaches and what they were saying during the game, and you could see their huddles during like the little timeouts and stuff, and I thought it was cool, but I prefer that the coaches just talk halftime and at the end of the game, because I'd prefer the announcers to give their opinions, and they, like, watching the game from an unbiased perspective, you can get a better idea, and in my opinion, coaches say the same thing every time out. Unless something drastic happens, like hustle, get rebounds, get on the defensive glass, hustle, make your play, don't play outside your expertise. Like, it's kind of the same thing. And what I saw the Illinois coach doing in the Penn State game was he's drawing up plays, and he's really letting his team communicate with each other during the timeout, while Penn State's team didn't do that. And yeah, morality was low because they were losing, but that's just something you can't do. Like, when they're in the tournament, when they're in March Madness, they can't do that. They have to always be smart and always be talking to each other, because that's how you win games. You have to tell your teammates what you want them to do, or have them tell you what they want you to do, because that helps the team. Like, knowing what you're going to do on a play is so useful, because you can go to a spot and the person with the ball will pass to the spot before you even get there, and you're wide open for a perfect shot, and that's just how it works, and the other team doesn't know. So that's why it's so useful to communicate during a game, like, especially with picks and stuff. Penn State just wasn't doing that. And if you really watched it close, one guy on Penn State's team had the worst body language out of anybody on the court, and that was Mike Watkins. He just decided that this game wasn't worth it, I guess. And it really made me frustrated, because he's talented, and when he plays well, and when he dunks, and he had a few dunks, but they were in the first half, and when the game was still close, and that really helped. But just the whole, like, I don't think he's being too cool for the game. I just think that he doesn't he doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't get that you have to go 100% on every play. I don't know if his conditioning's bad. I don't know if it's like a motivation thing, but it's like you have to be that guy for your team. He makes the plays that gets the crowd into it. Yeah, you can get threes and stuff, but when you make a rim rocking dunk to go up in the game or to tie the game, that changes the stadium, especially away. Even though it was at home and we had a lot of energy. I wasn't at the game, but I was watching at home because I was kind of sick. But we had so much energy. But when you look at the potential for being having for being when you look at the potential for being away and making a statement play like that, it's unmeasurable. You're taking the enemy court advantage out of it. And that's why he's special to this Penn State team. And he needs to step it up. Because without him, this team looks so different. We don't have two centers that are good at this game. John Harrar has become our better center. I never thought I'd say that. It's really perplexing. And I have to give credit to Illinois, too. That kid on the other team, number 11, had it going. Apparently they missed him last game, and then they got him back, and they got him back. Like, he wasn't missing a shot. He made all the big shots, especially in the clutch time. He really sealed the game for them. That was because their center play was really bad until like the last couple minutes of the second half, but that was also because of him. The guards were making shots and opening up the inside. Illinois has that one guy that can change the game. And in the beginning of the game, number 1 was really keeping the team together. He was facilitating and making good shots, keeping it close. And then number 11 really sealed the deal. Going to other teams in the Big Ten that really impressed me with Maryland, Iowa, Michigan State, and Rutgers, like rounding out the conference with the top records. I think Rutgers is being disrespected a little. Michigan State dropped out of the top 25 because they lost 4 of their last 5, and they just really haven't looked the same for some reason. The announcers talk about it so much by how they don't have any NBA caliber players on their roster, and I think that's baloney. Because what were they doing in the beginning of the season? They were still playing really well. And now, for some reason, they can't. And now they have an excuse? No, I don't think so. That's not what it is. Michigan State never really was a top team to me. I can understand how they were rated number 1 preseason because you think about it, they have the most experience as a team. You think Tom Izzo might actually help the team in some way, but that wasn't the case. So Michigan State's looking really rough. And Rutgers is being disrespected a little. They're sitting at the middle of the Big Ten in conference play, but they have a top record. And Ohio State with a worse record is being ranked above them. Rutgers beat Penn State. You know who hasn't? Ohio State did beat Penn State once, but lately we rocked them. So you have to give Rutgers credit because they can do what all these other teams in the conference can do. They're so balanced, and I think that helps because of the necessity of every player in basketball to be so ingrained in play for those 40 minutes. It's just necessary.